Hey, Corinne here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm super excited to talk to you about something that I feel like I could just geek out for hours, but I promise I won't do it for an hour today. And that's time blocking. I know it sounds like really geeky, like I said, but in this video today, I'm going to show you my simple approach to time blocking that can completely change your day. And I promise this isn't going to be another one of those typical time block videos that everyone's talking about. I'm actually going to show you something different than probably what you've seen before. Hey guys, so like I said, today we're going to get into one of my favorite topics, which is time blocking. Okay. So, a very common thing I hear from friends, clients, even myself sometimes is I'm just too busy. I don't have enough time, right? And time is actually one of our most valuable resources. The way I look at it, like you can always make more money, right? But the one thing you can't make more of is time, right? We all have the same 24 hours. Well, even if you think about like Oprah, Einstein, anybody who is successful, they did it with the same amount of time available to them as you and I have, right? So it's really more about a choice, okay, of choosing of where you're going to spend your time. Similar to like your budget and how you choose to spend your money, right? We have to decide how we're going to prioritize our time and where we're going to spend it that is the most valuable or the area that's going to give us the most return on our investment, right? So what I see a lot when people start, shifting their mindset of like, okay, I need a time block, is they'll start doing this crazy rigid schedule where it's like, okay, 15 minutes to do this, and then 30 minutes for lunch, and then I'm going to spend an hour doing this project, and then I'm going to have a 15-minute break. And they turn it into um, all of these little focused segments or like little focused projects, right? Instead of like a block schedule, right? And that's what I want to talk about today is instead of like blocking every little task or project or break on your calendar, okay? Switch from time blocking to a block schedule, okay? So if you remember when we were in high school, we had a block schedule, right? Where we would have the same time every single day, and we would have like the bell would ring and we would shift to our next block, right? So instead of it being, okay, you have 15 minutes to work on algebra, then you have 15 minutes to do your algebra homework, and then you have 15 minutes to do a practice lesson, it's literally just you have a block, right? So I'm going to go behind the scenes next and I'm going to show you how I set up my block schedule, all right? And I'm going to give you some options if you want to do block scheduling Monday all the way into the weekend, or if you want to do a block schedule just like Monday through Friday only, okay?
Okay, so like I was saying in the beginning of this video, the reason or the way that most people get time blocking wrong is they're putting all these tiny, tiny little blocks all over their calendar, which makes task switching a nightmare. And it makes just your brain so tired so much faster. So instead, we want to go back to almost like when we were in school and we had block scheduling. We had to switch from one class to the next, and it was like a set time period of how long we spent in each of those blocks. So what I like to do is like to look at my natural rhythm. As you know, I'm a mom, so some of my natural rhythms include needing to pick my kids up from school, feeding them, feeding myself. So there's those natural interruptions throughout my day that sort of end up forming my time blocks. So let me show you what this looks like. I created this separate calendar for just my time block schedule. I don't actually think, like, sometimes you see videos of people using all these crazy calendars so they can have, you know, a different calendar for each thing. I don't really agree with that because it makes it a nightmare to manage. And two, if you check out my video about Reclaim syncing calendars, it makes it's better if you just have one for like syncing and everything. So I do keep this calendar separate because it's like my ideal week, and then I can layer it over my real calendar when I'm doing my planning. So let's start first with just, you know, normal sleep. So I like to block this off, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I do use a lot of like emojis. Okay, and we're gonna set this to be every day. Okay, and then I'm gonna do another one. I typically try to go to bed around 9 o'clock. Okay, so I like putting this in because it gives me my sort of bookends of like, okay, here's all the time you have between these two things. All right, so kind of like what we talked about, where we have natural rhythms of things that will stop us from being able to do things, right? So at 7 o'clock, I need to be off the computer because I need to be helping get my kids ready for school. And then we typically go to the gym and then I come back, I eat, and I shower. So I'm going to put that all as a one time block instead of breaking those out into all individual things. I know that that's what I do every day between 7 and 10. So I, again, like to use some little emojis. This one. So kids, school, and gym. You could, and you don't even need to put the and really. Emoji. Shower. Right. Now, I don't like these going off, so I make sure my notifications are not on for this, okay? You probably will want them to be off for most of them and maybe on for a couple. So here we're going to put this is Monday through Friday. Okay. Ooh. There you go. Okay, so then after that, I basically work, and then I do pause for lunch, and then I have to pick up the kids again, right? So the kids pick up would be here, and at this point, we're sort of just doing like getting ready, like doing dinner, all those sort of things, right? So this would be kids. Dinner. Oh, I don't really like that one. Pizza. Where we're doing their backpacks, right? Or just sort of getting ready like for tomorrow or just like chilling, you know? We do a couple like a couple chores. You could add that in, but you could also add a lot of this into the description later, right? I'm just gonna leave it. So this, we pretty much actually do, we do this every weekday, but on the weekends, we pretty much are doing the same thing, but we're not doing like backpacks. So in this case, I will know you could take backpacks off if you wanted to, or you could just leave it and know like, yeah, it's the weekend, I don't need to do that, and you could keep backpacks on. Okay. So again, now you can sort of see like where are my things forming, right? So this block right here is really like hang out with the family, the kids go to bed at 8, and then this is like my personal turn down time, right? So we'll put one in here. I'm looking for one for like wash your face. Sure, we'll do a melting face. Family time. Self care. This is sort of like my evening routine. Okay, so this one happens every day. Okay, because it's like hang out with the family. I will say, hold on, I'm probably gonna just change one thing to make sure that we mark it down. Okay, on Fridays we do something like we have a set sort of thing we do, which is on Fridays, and we go through pictures because we're working on putting together a photo album right now as a family. So it's either pictures, Legos, there's one in here that kind of looks like a square. We'll do this one. We'll do either a family movie, so it's pictures, Legos, movie, or the last option is a game. And this is every Friday that we do this. Is just as like to make sure that we really spend some intentional time with the family, and that not everyone's just running off and doing their own thing every single night, right? Because sometimes they do. They just sort of go off and do their own thing. Okay, so that leaves me now on the work week these blocks that are left. So this one I have. Now, if you don't know what they are yet, you can just call them like A block. Right? Like when we were in school, right? Block C. So I'm probably just going to do it I'll just probably split this block in half because at some point I'm going to have lunch in there. But I don't want to necessarily block off lunch because, again, we're trying to not have those giant like blocks, or excuse me, we're trying not to have all those tiny little blocks everywhere. Okay, so then basically C block will include lunch. C block. Okay, now I'm not going to color coordinate these because I'm going to change these names probably later, and I'll probably make another video about that. But some other things you can really kind of include is like A block on the weekends. You could potentially do something like A block could continue. Me, I wake up at the same time every day, just because my body's been set that way. So you could potentially do two things. You could either take this here and do it daily, okay? Or you can make a new block for what you do on the weekends. So what that one would look like is you come here and do D block, okay? Now you could just keep this here of like 7 to 10, your eating, getting kids ready to go out the door, and then like you're not going anywhere until about 10 o'clock. For me, we usually still get out the door to go to the gym, or we go out for a walk by 8. So what I'll probably do is just extend these, okay? Or because I want to start getting myself like ready to go and stuff, it would actually end up being pretty much the same as this one. So we'll come here. On Saturdays, we either go for a walk or we do like baking and stuff. So walk. My kids really love to bake, so if the weather's not good, then we bake as a family. So walk or bake. Okay, and here we're pretty much Sundays we are just lazy people and we do nothing. Usually somebody will pick a movie. All right, so then same thing, like you could continue this on. So this would be F block. Now, I just want to say, like, you don't have to have anything on the weekends, okay? I'm just showing you what you could do on the weekends if you wanted it, okay? But you don't have to have anything, all right? And then here's this last one. Okay, so now you have it all blocked off of like your blocks, right? And I feel like it's really easy if you keep them all the same, right? Because then you can start even setting alarms in your phone of like, okay, it's time for block C, which is like lunch and maybe some sort of activity or whatever.
So now that you've seen the video and you've seen exactly how I set up my block schedule, here's a couple things I want you to keep in mind, okay? First of all, if you are working full time, if you are working as an entrepreneur, if you do client work like myself, the biggest place that I see this, like there being an error or this breaking is you go back to doing the same thing again of like 30 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour. Try to have them all be big blocks on your calendar. This will make it super easy so you can set alarms on your phone of just like the bell in high school of, hey, it's done. It's time to move on, right? It's time to move to your next block, okay? Try to avoid anything that's like 1 hour or less. And I would even say try to not do an hour. Try to have it segmented out like I showed you in the video where there's big blocks, okay? Another tip is like I really try to put my blocks together so that it's almost using like my natural rhythm. You saw in that video where I basically showed you like, okay, I have to get the kids to school, so here's that block, right? I have to feed the kids, here's that block, right? I need to feed myself, here's that block. So you can sort of create these blocks within your natural rhythm. And if you don't have any sort of natural rhythm, like with lunch or things, then you can just create blocks and make, they're almost the same size, right, of each block on the calendar. Okay. And then, like I said, set alarms, okay, using that just like you used to hear the bell at school. So you can have your A block end, and there's going to be an alarm that goes off, and then when block ends, alarm that goes off, and so on. Now, in my next video, we'll talk about figuring out, well, what the hell do I do during these blocks, okay? Because you may be thinking like, well, every block is different, but it's really not. Maybe what you do during that block is different, but it all will have the same theme, the same container of things and activities you do during that block. And that way you can still stick to your block schedule, right? Same thing each day, but it will not, maybe the things you actually do during that block will change a little. And it will make planning your week so much easier following this block system because you won't have to say like, oh, well, I'm going to need more time here and less time here, and my schedule's going to change. I'm going to do this different and all this different. It's done, right? We're over. Okay. So just to recap really quick, like I said, think of your blocking, like your time blocks, instead of time blocking, block schedule. Okay. And follow through with making sure you have all those blocks in place, not little blocks, but the bigger ones. Okay. I'll be posting another video, like I said, about how to fill those blocks with tasks so you know what to be working on in each block. All right. So again, if you're new here, my name is Corinne. I post videos to help busy mompreneurs get back their time and grow their business. I'll see you next time.